A new phase of the Strait of Hormuz crisis is unfolding after Iran's supreme leader declared the Persian Gulf has entered a new chapter. This follows the war with the United States and Israel that began on February 28th. Tehran is signaling a more assertive role over this choke point. Western and Gulf governments warn that the disruption could threaten global fuel supplies. But this did not come out of nowhere. From the beginning, Iran's message was blunt. The Strait of Hormuz would no longer operate under the old rules. Tehran warned that passage through the strait would depend on whether a country was considered hostile or non-hostile. In effect, Iran was trying to redefine access to one of the world's most important trade routes as a political decision. That is why the crisis increasingly reflects the Chinese saying, "You do the first day, I'll do the 15th." After the initial military escalation, Tehran is now answering on terrain where it holds real leverage. Iran does not need to defeat the US militarily. It only needs to keep the strait unstable long enough for oil prices, shipping costs, inflation, and political pressure to rise. The United States has long presented itself as the guarantor of open sea lanes, stable energy flows, and global order. If the strait remains disrupted despite US pressure, the damage will go beyond oil markets. Higher fuel prices can eventually fall, but a visible loss of confidence in US deterrence and leadership is much harder to repair. Internationally, the consequences could be even broader. Europe and Asia could face higher energy bills, rising transport costs, and renewed inflation in global supply chains. Allies may begin to question whether Washington can still protect the system, while rivals see an opening to challenge US authority elsewhere. The Strait of Hormuz crisis is not simply an oil shock. It is becoming a credibility shock for American power. If the crisis drags on, it can become a visible sign of erosion, a moment when the world sees that US power can still punish. But it may no longer be able to fully control the consequences.